I'm going to be ranking classes in the game according to how impressive that class is playing in solo. Is it harder for those classes to win? That's S tier. Or is it easier for that class to win? Then it's D tier, right? We go right down to the bottom. It's just my opinion. It's not facts. So keep that in mind. Let's do Ranger. Where do we think Ranger is? Given what we've been saying, right? In my opinion, where do you think I'm going to put Ranger in terms of how impressive is the class to play in solos? CBBs? Correct. I'm putting Ranger in the C tier. It's not the D tier. It's not the worst. But let me just say that I'm not impressed by Ranger gameplay. This is kind of a hot take. I know there are a lot of skilled Rangers, and I know that Ranger can take some skill. Let's talk about it. What are some of the things that a Ranger has to overcome? What makes this class impressive, in my opinion? Well, certainly spatial awareness, spacing awareness, their position in the modules. As someone who struggles with this a bit myself, whenever I see a good Ranger exercise an excellent degree of spacing awareness in terms of their position in the module, anticipating their opponent's movement in a module, this to me is impressive, and a Ranger must do this if a Ranger wants to survive. Okay? Another thing that is impressive about Ranger gameplay is they have to aim their shots, and they have to kind of manage different projectile speeds. Okay? Aiming in this game is not necessarily intuitive, right? This isn't like... There's a weird delay, let's just say. Firing projectiles in this game doesn't feel great. It's never felt great. As a fighter, as someone who does use a bow and understands how challenging it can be to hit projectile shots against, especially an opponent who knows how to move to counter that ranged attack, right, is impressive. Also, if the Ranger is swapping between crossbows, different sizes of bows, right, different abilities that change their rate of fire or their projectile speed, that is impressive because you have to adjust your aim on the fly. So these things are definitely impressive. But what are the unfair advantages, or what are the aspects of this class I don't find impressive? Well, for one, if you're playing as a ranged class in any of these games, in any game that offers a melee and a ranged option, if you're playing as a ranged damage class, you're not playing with the whole combat system. You're taking less risk. If a melee player is in melee range and swings and misses their melee shot, they pay for it. They pay for it because they're probably going to get hit. If a Ranger fires an arrow from across the module and misses, you just get to shoot again. You get some more shots. It's less risky. If it's less risky, in my opinion, it's less impressive. And this chart is all about how impressive do I think the class is playing in solo. Because Rangers don't engage with the full combat system, because they get to take advantage of the safety of damage from a distance, I'm less impressed by Ranger gameplay. What else? What else is not impressive about Ranger gameplay? I believe that there's a huge move speed advantage that Rangers enjoy. Okay? Anything in solos that gives you more move speeds allows you to dictate the terms of combat. If you are faster than your opponent, you have tremendous advantages, okay? It's the most important stat in solo. There's also a ton of really crappy aspects of the module designs, of the map designs. There's places that you can get to that maybe other classes can also get to, but it's cumbersome. So the fact that the Ranger can take advantage of move speed to avoid taking melee damage, can enjoy the safety of ranged attacks, and can take advantage of parts of the map that allow you to block other people from jumping, that allow you to mitigate other forms of melee damage, make this class unimpressive. It's not impressive if you're using map cheese and using move speed in addition to range damage, which is low risk, to win fights. I don't think that's impressive. Who cares? So you can run and you can jump and you can shoot from a distance. Like that isn't as impressive to me as other forms of doing damage, other forms of winning fights in this game. Ladder block glitch is so bad they gotta fix it. I don't even know what that is. Thank goodness I don't know what that is. But particularly the map design. the map design in Dark and Darker, now that like it's been the same bloody maps for so long, right? The maps are solved, and people that play these classes that do damage from range know how to take advantage of bad map design and use it to their advantage to win fights. There's one other thing to add to what I think makes Ranger not impressive, and that is their ability to do burst damage in melee range. So in addition to the move speed advantage, to the safety of range damage, to all the crappy map design that they get to take advantage of, if you manage to close the gap as a melee, again, my bias here, my personal bias, let me just remind everybody here, this is fighter melee bias, right? This is my bias. But if I do the work and take the risk to close the gap, what is my reward for doing that versus the Ranger? I overcome the move speed. I overcome the range damage. I overcome the map crutches. I get into melee range. And what is my reward? Bloody shotgun and backstep spears, right? More advantages for this crappy class. And that doesn't make me feel good. That's not a reward for taking the risk of closing the gap to do melee damage. I should not be rewarded with a shotgun in my face and then a backstep spear. That's Ranger. C tier. Not impressive. I don't care what the clip is. I don't care who the streamer is. I personally am not impressed by Ranger gameplay.